We are live with the Remodeler Show with yours truly, Kyle Hunt. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. It is Monday, August 3rd, 2020. This week, I'm going to do the Remodeler Show Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be here, be there, or be square. That's what I meant to say.
Welcome to the Remodeler Show, hosted by Kyle Hunt.
Good music can alter your mood. I wouldn't consider that great music, but it's good music, upbeat. When you're sitting there and all that's going on is all those thoughts in your brain that are driving you bonkers, don't forget about just turning on some music and that helping you with your mood and helping you move forward. That's not even written in today's agenda, and we're already starting with maybe some good takeaways or value adds. Let me share a few things with you. Tomorrow, there's going to be a gentleman named Brian Kaplan coming on the show. He is with Construction Consulting. He's from the Toronto, Ontario area. I've gotten to know him well over the last year or so, and my boy's wicked smart. Bonus points if you put in the comments what movie that was from. Wicked smart. Not only is it a great quote, it is a great scene from a movie. I won't tell you what it is. We'll see if anybody knows. But Brian is very smart, and him and I are going to be talking about primarily the estimating process. How do you continue to refine and improve this very important part of your remodeling business? He's going to have some really good insight into it. And then who knows where the show will go, because it's partly dictated by the live viewers. Maybe you'll have a few questions for us that will keep us on our toes. If you go to the remodellershow.com, in particular, click on the YouTube link near the bottom. There is a nice archive of all the previous episodes. We have kind of titled them with the key thought from the show on each of them. So I wanted you to be aware of that. Also, something kind of fun, this day in history. I know you guys are excited about this. This day in history, August 3rd in the year 1958, the U.S. nuclear submarine Nautilus accomplishes the first undersea voyage to the geographic North Pole. Bet you didn't know that. They took off from Alaska and went all the way to the North Pole. Fun fact of the day. Don't forget to put some comments in there, ask Kyle anything, and I am going to get into some topics that I have prepared for today. All right, this one I just named In Your Face Goal. In Your Face Goal. I have this little sheet. It says July 2020. I was just about to put it in the little kitchenette area in our office there, which I do each month. But this is just a little goal. And what this is for me is my goal of 5 new Remodelers Autopilot clients each month. July, failed miserably, 4 out of 5. But I take a little sticky note like this. I'll put August here, and maybe the goal's 5, maybe it's a little bit more, and I'll stick it right on the bottom of my monitor. It is kind of in my face. It reminds me. There's multiple times that I see that during the month and go, maybe I need to make that follow-up call. Maybe I need to send out that email. Maybe we need to create a post related to the benefits of Remodelers Autopilot. So this idea of an in-your-face goal, there's a lot of my clients who, one example would be a sales thermometer, where you have something on your wall, and let's say you have a goal of $100,000 in new sales during the course of the month. And when you make a sale, when you sell that $40,000 bathroom, one of the first things that you're going to be excited to do is to go over your little sales thermometer, put the client name and the amount, and take a nice permanent marker and scribble in the little thermometer part. The top of the thermometer in that example is 100,000. But it is a visual reminder of a goal. We know that if we write down our goals, they are much more likely to happen. And having a visual reminder of a goal or something that you can kind of interact with as you make sales or as you complete projects or whatever metric you have is something that I've seen a lot of my clients have fun and success with. So it's just a little idea for you. Next one up, from a coaching call. I was reflecting back on a call I had Friday. And after we had a conversation, he'd been kind of struggling, thinking through things, not having a lot of clarity on certain things. And he kind of ended the call by saying, just talking through things, me talking out loud, sharing what's on my mind and heart makes me feel better. I just feel better. And I say that because I think sometimes we don't seek out people to talk to. This could be outside of business and needing to talk to a professional. This could be talking to a friend or family member. This could be in a business context, talking to maybe somebody that's trusted on your team, another business owner that you're good friends with, or even a coach like myself. Make sure it is a tough slog. I haven't used that in a sentence. It's a tough slog to go through business by yourself on your own. Being the owner of a business can be lonely, and you have to proactively seek out trusted coaches, trusted contacts, community where you can get out of your own head and have the support and encouragement and insight that comes from being surrounded by other people. So just that little reminder of the importance of that. All right. Comments are fairly quiet so far. Good morning/afternoon. I need to go and see who wrote that. That was Ernie. Ernie, good to see you. If you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, you can approve where I will be able to see your name, and you will go from Facebook user to Ernie. Just a thought for you there. Ernie, I emailed you this morning, by the way, too. All right, this one is just a quick item on managing your team. Actually, according to that, it's quick managing your team times two. I was talking to one of my clients when that was early last week, and he was sharing about a. Here's a question for you, actually, especially for those of you who consume a lot of my content. I started that sentence with, I was talking to a client last week, and when I 2.5 weeks ago, when I was up in beautiful Marquette, Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of the Home Builder Association, they had an outdoor barbecue, and they had me come up and speak. And my two sons came up, and my father came up, and we had a little bit of a dudes couple days. It was lovely, lovely wouldn't be the word. It was manly. It was fun, and my dad sat in on my whole session, which was kind of fun. There was even a time where he kind of took the microphone, and I said, "All right, Dad, give me some feedback. You already shared a couple things you like. Thanks. What's something that is some constructive criticism or critiquing?" And he said, "Well, like every time you covered something, you said, well, I have this client in Florida, his name is, or I have Brett in Lansing area and what he does." And you just kept, every single time you kept using like actual examples. And he said, "I kind of understand why that's important." Owner of the business had a nice conversation, just, hey, it's been 3 months. How are things going? What's going on? How are you feeling? And he said, where is it here? He said, "You know what? I come in, I feel like a person. People seem to just care about me. People are actually already talking about like helping me in my career and what the next steps are. This is unlike anywhere else I ever worked." And I caught a note of that, and I wrote a note down. And the reminder I have for you guys is that what your team says? Are you making them feel like a valued part of the team? Are you training them and giving them opportunity to continue to grow and improve in their career? Do they feel valued? And like everything else in business, so often it comes down to just doing the little things. And managing your team members often comes down to the little things. That quick text message, that thoughtful conversation, that clear check-in. So this is related to managing your team, and I think something that maybe it sparks a conversation you might have with somebody on your team today. And then the second part of managing your team is simply this. In an interview that I did with, who was it? Ed Earl, as part of the Remodeler Show, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Ed was talking about how it is important to work on your bench. Work on your bench, meaning even if you have a key plumber, electrician, drywaller, it's important to work on your bench, making sure that you have more than one trade that you can rely on and that you can call on. And Ed was making the point that we need to always be working on building and improving our bench. And that's something that has always been a conversation point with remodelers that I've worked with over the years. And it's just a good reminder to you guys, work on your bench. That means carve out some time to ask one of your trade partners, do you know anybody else who would be excellent for us in this category? Do you know anybody that does this? Asking your suppliers, asking contacts that you have for that. That's an important part of managing your team, is to continue to build your team. And sometimes that takes time. All right, Bailey is speaking here. I like hearing client stories. Plus, it's always good to know you're sharing a real story and not making something up or retelling a metaphor, tall tale everyone's heard 100 times to illustrate a point. I mean, that's pretty funny. Yeah. Are all of these stories true? Actually, they are. All right, and I had an absolutely. Oh, Ernie likes it too. Okay. So Bill Hunt is incorrect. It's good. It's good to use those examples. All right. If I were to get into a little Ask Kyle Anything time.
AKA, Ask Kyle Anything. It's time for your questions.
And I just wait momentarily to see if there's any comments that might pop into the box while I sip some water. And if there's not, I got more content here. It's August. It's already August. The year, the crazy COVID year. It is August. All right, let's see here. Plus, the lesson sticks more when you share a story. And that is true. That is no doubt true. We've talked about that a little bit when it comes to your sales process. And if you were to say, you got two options that I really see for these countertops. You can either go with granite or you can go with Cambria. The pros and cons of granite and the pros and cons of Cambria are as follows. That's one way you could sell. Another way you could sell is this pretty much exact situation was exactly what one of our clients a few weeks ago was deciding between. Very similar kind of thought process with it. And they were debating between granite and Cambria. And for them, the way they came to the conclusion was, fill in the blank, telling a little bit of a story. Stories. Facts tell, stories sell. So that is a good reminder as you navigate prospects and taking a lead into a paying project, as you're even going through production. Stories are powerful. All right, cool. I say we just keep on trucking here. Let's go into the next section of things that is related to outside of work. Outside of work. I have two items here. One is, if this is your jam, if you'd be interested, I am on day 16. 16 days in a row. I have been doing a little daily devotional, little faith in God talk every day on my personal Facebook page. If that's your jam, if you're interested in that, don't be shy. Go ahead and friend me on Facebook, and you can start seeing those little outside the work aspects. And then on another note, pay now or pay later. This is a phrase from Bill Tanas, longtime client in beautiful Grand Ledge, Michigan. And this came up in a remodeler circle call not too long ago. And he said, look, you either pay now or pay later. And he was talking about your health, related to our health. If we don't pay, maybe monetarily, but more so in blood, sweat, and tears, in working at it, in being disciplined at it, you may not pay now. You may enjoy the fruits of, not fruits, because that's the opposite of what I'm talking about here, but you know what I mean. You may enjoy it now, but you're going to pay later for that. So either pay now or pay later, and it's related to your health. I think it's fairly self-explanatory, and we all, myself included, cannot be reminded enough of that fact and that factoid. So just a little shot in your arm to encourage you to get on or continue on a good health streak. All right. Moving right along.
It's time for today's Marketing Minute.
It's a quiet day on the Remodeler Show. We've got several people here live. The comments are fairly quiet. It's all right. We have covered so far. What have we covered? In your face goal. The idea of having like a sales thermometer, having your goal right in front of you. There is a higher percentage chance that you're going to reach your goal when you do that. The From a Coaching call was related to making sure that you are not a hermit in your business, that you are surrounding yourself with people to help, encourage, and give you insight, whether that be a coach, whether that be a friend or colleague, whatever the case is, the importance of that. Talks about managing your team two items related to that. One, making sure that your team feels valued, cared for, and that you're giving them a clear path for improvement in their career and training. And secondly, on that, work hard on your bench. Make sure that you're continually looking and adding to all of the trade partners that you have so that you have a second or third option and you're not reliant on just one. That also adds into making sure you're working on your bench of potential employees. I am more and more convinced that we should pretty always have some type of job posting up for a key position that you may or may not need. The worst case scenario on that is that you end up interviewing somebody, have a really good conversation. You just don't have a spot for them right now, but you have connected and you're able to have a little bit of a simmer list, is what one of my clients calls it, a simmer list of people that you could actually pick up the phone and call should you need additional help, should one of your carpenters or employees leave, making sure we're working on our bench. So there's some thoughts for you there. Bailey's on the ball. She's like, look, it's quiet. It's a little quiet. Although it seems to pick up about the 15-minute mark. Number of people viewing live, it just seems to happen. What are you doing today to pay now instead of later? Well, I would say that my key employee is not really helping the cause today because I came in to the office to this, which is a pumpkin muffin. And un momento. I brought this to the office so as to pay now and eat this banana, but she also brought cookies. So you're not helping.
I made them with coconut oil though instead of butter.
Evidently, these are with coconut oil instead of butter. They're quote unquote healthy cookies. Yeah. And I also don't break the chain is a thing that I have shared over time. It's actually a Jerry Seinfeld thing, this thought of whatever the chain is to do it every single day. For me, what it's been over the last few years is trying to knock out 100 sit-ups. I would say that in the last 30 days, I have, not including today, I have knocked out 100 sit-ups 0 times. 0 times. But for some reason, it's Monday, it's August, new month, I knocked out 100 sit-ups. So that paid now instead of later for that. So there's your answer. Okay, cool. It's time for another segment of the Remodeler Show.
It's time for today's Marketing Minute.
It is. It's a simple one, folks. It's a reminder. I would say a huge compliment would be, Kyle, you repeat yourself sometimes. I've heard that from you before. Or, Kyle has said this. And this is one that's definitely that case. Google reviews. Google reviews. How many Google reviews do you have on your business profile? Search your business, you'll find it. And a lot of times, it's not a lot. A lot of times, one knucklehead leaving a bad review can make you look like you're not very strong business. And this is a matter of texting one of your clients who absolutely loves you and just saying, could you do me a favor? That's how you start it, by the way. Don't say anything else in the text other than, could you do me a favor, ? Your response rate to that is going to be 92%. I understand that 45% of all statistics are made up, but 92%, take it to the bank. If you said, could you do me a favor? I am looking to secure some Google reviews this month, and I was wondering if you could help me with that. Your response rate to that is going to be 33% because they still love you. They might still respond, but it went way down. But once you kind of hook them, they'll be more than happy to do it. And sometimes you have to follow up. Sometimes you have to ask a second, maybe even third time, but it's worth it. This is an important part of your overall marketing plan. Let's get out there and let's get some additional Google reviews today. Please and thank you. All right. I feel like that was an actual minute. A marketing minute. This next one is know your numbers. Know your numbers. We are now starting the 8th month of the year, arguably the craziest month that most of us have been through business. And for sure by now, you should have your QuickBooks, your accounting all updated for the first 6 months of the year. As I have been doing the 6-month financial review with a lot of my clients lately, we've had to wrestle with things. Yes, we can see the actual numbers for the first 6 months. We can compare that to our overall business budget. And we can see how that looks. We can dig into the job costing and especially the percentage of job costing that's been made up. Look at our gross profit. We can definitely also dig into our expenses and study those clearly. The wrestling part comes in with, okay, we're also slowed down by COVID. You know, what kind of impact did that make for my Michigan clients? Like literally shut down for 6 weeks. You know, what kind of impact that is. And it's a great time to just cast a new updated goal for the second half of the year. Maybe even going in and updating your overall business budget in QuickBooks. It's a good time of the year to do that. Work hard to carve out some time to know your numbers. Look hard at that P&L statement. Make sure your QuickBooks is up to date. Do a good solid evaluation of where you stand. And then let's get some clear goals, top line revenue goals. Maybe you're gonna adjust some of your expenses based on what you're looking at or thinking about for the rest of the year. Dig into that. There's a remodeler show where I dug into that topic in more detail. It was back in, I don't know. You'd have to look it up. Maybe Bailey will look up the time that I talked in depth about your business budget and setting that up and evaluating your P&L. I bet you she'll find it, and I bet you she'll put it in the comments section. But know your numbers. That's just a good reminder there for you. All right. Next up is this.
It's time for a reminder to help you improve your sales process.
Your sales process. And what I wanted to mention or remind you about related to this today is simply to make sure your sales pipeline is up to date and organized. You are going to follow up more consistently and more timely and stronger with prospects if you have an organized sales pipeline. You are going to be able to quickly see who you need to follow up with, how long it's been. You're going to be reminded of people, wow, I haven't heard from them in a week and a half. You're going to be reminded to reach out to them. You're going to have a good handle on what your pipeline of work looks like if you keep this organized. This can be through a fancy CRM system. If you have Builder Trend or Co-Construct, you can make sure your pipeline is up to date in there. This can also be just a simple spreadsheet. I've talked before about what the sales pipeline looks like. Oftentimes it is 1, appointment to be set. 2, appointment set, scheduled, / working on proposal. 3, design retainer signed, working on design. 4, done proposal, haven't signed. Done proposal for, haven't signed. Right? So each different bucket. And then you have 5, jobs in progress, meaning they're signed but not completed yet. And then 6, completed jobs, 2020. Just a simple sales pipeline like that. Work hard to make sure that is up to date. It's very important. When it's murky, when you have a stack of folders, when you're not organized there, it's hard to follow up in a timely manner, and that matters. That matters in improving your closing percentage. It matters in getting prospects into paying signed projects. Okay. All right. And we've got a couple links here. You guys will be able to click on those related to the Know Your Numbers. All right. We're here at the 6-minute mark. Let's see here. What else do I have for you today? I've got this, which is Remodeler's Vault. If you have not checked out remodelersvault.com, it's free. There are all kinds of templates, tools, and resources that I have populated in there that we have received from other colleagues and remodelers of yours. And there's gold. There's gold in there. If you go to remodelersvault.com, you can get access to that. That's kind of cool. I mentioned this here goal that I have of Remodelers Autopilot. We need to be staying in touch with our previous clients. They are your most valuable marketing asset. And it's hard to find the time to create compelling content, to have it all designed, to actually send it out in a consistent manner via email to all of your clients and prospects. It's hard to stay consistent with putting nice, good, solid social media posts up. It's hard to create a new blog post every month that you can add to your website for search engine optimization purposes. And Remodelers Autopilot is a very affordable way to do all 3 of those things. If you go to remodelersauto.com, autopilot.com. You'll see my beautiful face. I think it's even a video without my hat on. And I tell you all about the program. It's simple. It's lovely. It's $1 to try for a month. I say you give it a try. All right. So let's see if there's any other comments. If there's no other comments, we're going to do something which is exciting, which is called, we're going to wrap this show up. I've already gone through most of what we've covered, but just in a quick recap of what I didn't cover. On the outside of work side of things, if you go to Kyle Hunt, my personal Facebook page, I'm on day 16 of a little daily devotional. If you want to do that, feel free. The pay now or pay later. Good reminder to take care of our health. On the Marketing Minute, Google reviews. And I'll just say, text a previous client, can you do me a favor, ? 96% response rate, guaranteed, just like I said earlier. If somebody's listening closely, you know that I just gave you a different percentage. Knowing your numbers. It's a good time to go through that first 6 months of the year. Let's get into that. Let's dig into your P&L. Let's compare it to your overall business budget. Let's update our business budget. There's something like a breath of fresh air. Okay, this has been a crazy first half of the year. I feel organized. I feel like I have a plan for the second half of the year. I have a goal of what I'm shooting for from a top line sales standpoint. I have clarity on what I'm doing as far as my expenses go and what I'm going to invest in the second half of the year. Dig into that. Your sales process, organized sales pipeline, the value of that. And I mentioned Remodeler's Vault, which is a free resource. And I also mentioned Remodeler's Autopilot. So there we have it. That is today's show. Tomorrow, Mr. Brian Kaplan, from Ontario, Canada, is going to be joining us. We're going to be digging into the estimating side of things. Ooh, and one more thing. I should have mentioned it earlier. On Friday, we're going to try a little call-in show. What that requires is somebody to say, Kyle, I am more than happy to call in on video, and you click a button and boom, you appear, and you're going to share some takeaways, maybe even some knowledge, or just questions you have. I'm looking for 2 or 3 brave people, and Friday we're going to do a little bit of a call-in show. Should be fun. If you heard something on today's show, by the way, that you liked, I would love for you to go and implement it. I will talk to you tomorrow.